Welcome to Digital Dive, where we take a look at how organisations are aligning their technology requirements with business strategies to deliver growth. And this episode, it's a little different because we're going to be looking at how those strategies also should incorporate environmental sustainability. Joining me for this episode in the studio we have Alistair McLeod, CEO of Grey Fox Consulting, and down the line we have James Stainforth, who is the founder of Sustainable Business Services. So welcome both.
Hello.
James, before we get going and talk about tech, can you sort of tell us how you can help reduce a business's carbon footprint and the other environmental benefits by basically telling us what does your business do?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jamie. So Sustainable Business Services was set up a few years ago now to be a leader in sustainable business. Our goal is to support organisations understand, track and reduce their carbon emissions to reach their ultimate ambition. That starts with the premise of understanding what a business's environmental impact is, and we do that through data and a carbon footprint. We then use that data to help them shape their short, medium and long-term goals. And to be a sustainable company, we do so aligned to internationally recognised standards such as PAS 2060 and the Greenhouse Gas Protocol. And all of our clients sign up to the United Nations Race to Zero campaign.
Obviously, there's a bit of a relationship between your business and Grey Fox. How did that come about, and what have you done to help Alistair's business?
Yeah, absolutely. We work with a variety of clients across a range of industries, from haulage to recruitment. We also work with many local authorities, providing some funded solutions to SMEs. That's how we met Alistair and Grey Fox, through a funded solution that Newcastle Council through the BIPC provide, called the City Life Programme. We sat down, we met Alistair and Grey Fox and got to know their business, and we provided them a fully funded carbon footprint audit and report. They signed up to the United Nations Race to Zero campaign, so we then worked with them to understand the output of that report for their organisation, their own business, and to look at ways they can reduce their environmental impact aligned to the United Nations Race to Zero campaign goals and targets.
Okay, so Alistair, this work obviously had an effect on your business and probably an effect on you. So, how has it influenced the work you do and how you work with your clients?
Yeah. Well, I think just a point to make before I answer that is that when we first set the business up, we wanted to make sure that we were a sort of responsible business. We were doing business in a really responsible way. So that cuts across a few different areas. How we actually work with our customers and how we treat our people, how we deliver services to our clients. But also, the relationship that we have to the outside world. So I volunteer as a enterprise advisor at a school, so for social corporate responsibility, and the economic side of things was just the final piece of that jigsaw of, trying to do business in a responsible way. So the work that James did for us allowed us to start thinking about the impact we were having on the environment. So, for example, previously we were driving into Newcastle city centre and parking our cars in the car park. So we've decided to use public transport now. It was a lot easier to do. We looked at the carbon footprint in terms of paper usage, for example, and we've now removed the use of business cards where possible. And if we have got some business cards, but we've used 100% recyclable material. So it's things like that you can do to try and understand how you can reduce that overall carbon footprint.
So what sort of things in particular are you doing in your when you work with your clients to help them be more sustainable, particularly obviously through the deployment of how they use tech and digital?
Well, and interestingly, it was the work with James that prompted us to start thinking, well, okay, then, we can be responsible ourselves, but how can we actually help our clients adopt some of these principles? So we've started to introduce, as part of the IT strategy work we do, a sustainability element. So what that means is we're looking with clients to say, well, what data can you use to inform your overall insight into your carbon footprint, for example? So how can data and analytics feed into that view? We also look at thinking about the overall cost of technology. So there's a common sort of view that sending an email has a certain sort of carbon footprint. So if you can reduce the number of emails people are sending in your business, and for a large organisation that can be quite significant. How you store data, where you store data, all of that has an impact. How you use, reuse, repair, recycle hardware. But also extending it beyond that as well, and thinking, well, okay, what systems and technology exist which allow us to do things like car sharing, sort of diaries and scheduling, so to allow people to sort of, travel into work together. So it's just taking a broad view of that whole sustainability piece and making sure that's embedded into the IT strategy.
So just turn back to you, James, for a second. Obviously, this journey to net zero, it's become part of our, hopefully become part of our culture. It touches every part of our lives, whether it's personal lives and business, the economy and all that sort of stuff. So, are you getting the same sort of reaction that you've had from Alistair to your service from businesses? Is there, is this still a priority, particularly obviously where we are economically at the moment, to be a sustainable, environmentally sustainable as well as financially sustainable business?
Yeah, I mean, interesting question. And I would say that Alistair and Grey Fox have approached building out from their own organizational impact and looking at how they can, like Alistair said, support their clients with the digital aspect of that, which has many different facets in itself, which ultimately supports the work that we do with our clients as well, because for us it's about providing all of that information around the different elements and hotspots of a carbon footprint for a business, but then also providing partnerships and additional services that can help them understand where they can go to reduce that. From a business perspective and an adoption perspective, there's a real move and push now through procurement. So public sector contracts over a certain value now have a requirement to demonstrate a net zero roadmap. And that isn't anymore just a tick box. It is real granular detail of an organization's carbon footprint. So where we see the shift is that more and more businesses now see this as an essential part to grow their business, to access new markets, to retain the clients and staff that they have. So it is really, really becoming more of an essential part for businesses from all sectors now.
Excellent. Last word to you then, Alistair, on the same sort of subject. What when you're talking to clients and you're talking to them about their IT strategies and how that fits with business, and when you bring in the sustainability and the environmental element, what sort of reaction are you getting?
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, interesting question. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people have sustainability on their websites, but actually, what we're doing is we're just bringing that alive a bit and saying, and with us going in as consultants and saying, right, what does that sustainability piece mean, and how can we have an influence on that? Really, sort of just keeps that conversation as a top priority. So people are. I'm seeing a lot of organisations, waking up to the fact that, that this is a thing that people need to be worried about. I mean, there's real tangible benefit to the organisation. It's not just a tick box exercise. You can reduce your costs, you can reduce your, you become much more efficient as a consequence of looking at some of this stuff. So it's a bit of a win-win, really. People become more efficient, reduce their costs, and having less of an impact on the environment. So I think it's all good.
Excellent. And if businesses want to get in touch with you, James, what do they have to do? Where do they have to go?
Can visit our website, sbs.eco. We can share details via LinkedIn, tagged into what would be, I guess, the post on here. But yeah, we've got a team of people really passionate about both the environment and supporting businesses utilise this for the benefit.
Excellent. Okay. And as I say, if you want to find more information about Grey Fox, you can find it on their website, and look out for more digital dives in the future.